Very good evening to all of you. Shri Kumarswami, Mahavidyalaya, Ausa, District Latur, organized a long series, that is World Record Series 2. Today is the 131st day of the series, and the resource person for today's session is Honorable Dr. Nitu Maurya, Madam. So first of all, I welcome to you, Madam, for the dais.
Thank you, sir.
I welcome to the Chief Organizer of the World Record Series 2, Honorable Principal M. Bedkar, sir. I welcome colleagues from my college, IQAC Coordinator Dr. Sanjay Kale, sir, Dr. Anita Dole, Madam, Praveen Utke, sir, and all others. Last but not least, all dear attendees who joined the series on time. So, welcome to you all. For today's session, the topic is very important one. That is data analysis tools and techniques. Now this topic is going to present Honorable Dr. Nitu Maurya, Madam. Before her presentation, in short, I would like to introduce Honorable Dr. Nitu Maurya, Madam. She is a professor in KCC Institute of Legal and Higher Education, Ghaziabad. So with this brief introduction, now I request to the Maurya, Madam, please start your presentation for today's topic, data analysis, tools and techniques. Welcome, Madam, please.
Thank you so much, sir. And before starting the session, first I would like to thank you to Bedkar sir to invite me as a speaker for the session. And it is a really honor for me to be the part of this session because it is a word series, for the world record. So thank you so much, sir, for inviting me and giving me this honor. Now I would like to start my session, and the topic is the data analysis tools and the techniques. And the topic which is covered in which I will cover in a today session is what is the data analysis. A very brief introduction about what is the data analysis. Then what is the data analysis process? So the process which we will follow in a data analysis, this I will discuss. Then the type of the data analysis technique, because we have actually the two type of data analysis technique, the quantitative and the qualitative data analysis technique. But in today's session, I will only focus on a quantitative data analysis technique because it's very hard to to explain the both one in a one session. So today I will only focus on what is the quantitative data analysis technique, and then how you will choose the right method for the data analysis, right? Because this is the most this is the question asked by the most of the researcher, that how you will select the proper technique as per your data, as per your hypothesis. So this thing I will discuss in how you choose the right method for the data analysis. So what is the data analysis? What is the meaning of the data analysis, and what is the definition of the data analysis? Here I'm just giving a very, layman type of, you can say, the language. So what is the data analysis is exactly? So we can say the data analysis is actually a systematic process, right? We can always use the word the systematic. So data analysis is a systematic process of the collection of the data and the interpretation of the data, right? So the number of the stages we will follow between these 2 points. So we can say actually the data analysis is actually the process of the collection of the data and the analyzing of the data with the help of the statistical and the logical method. This is a very important. Whenever we will go for the data analysis process, just keep in mind that whatever the analysis technique we will choose for the data analysis, it should be the logical and the statistical. So overall, we can say so that the data analysis is a process of the collection of the data and the analyzing of the data with the help of the statistical and the logical method, right? Now, the second thing, which is a very important to understand why we actually need the data analysis, right? So, for example, before doing the data analysis, everyone need to understand what is the actually the importance of the data analysis in a research, right? So, the data analysis is actually present the accurate and the reliable data, which is a very important. Dealing with the data is not important. The important thing is dealing with the reliable data, right? So the data analysis, in a data analysis, we will deal with the accurate and the reliable data, which actually avoid the, or minimize the error in your, result, in your statistical result. So that's why data analysis is very important in a research. The second thing is through the data analysis, you can breaking down of the complex research material into fundamental and the simplified way, right? Like whenever we collect the data, we have a huge amount. Whenever we collect the data, either for primary and the secondary for our research purpose or for our PhD purpose, we have a huge data set. So with the help of the data analysis, we will put our data, we will keep our data in front of the in front of the your panel, in front of the researcher in a very simplified method. So that's why the data analysis again important in your research work. So this is about what is the meaning of the data analysis. So very simply, data analysis is a process of the collection of data and the analysis of the data with the help of the logical and the statistical method. Okay. Now, as I just told you, it is a process. So technically, we will follow the 5 process when we talk about the data analysis, right? So the first process is you need to understand before doing anything. There's like if you're before doing anything, we need to ask yourself, it's really data analysis is needed in your study, right? Because there are the number of the researcher who are doing research, we can say the review type of research, where they read the number of the literature, they just find the gap and they write down on a paper about the research gap and all things. So before doing the data analysis, first you need to ask yourself, is really data analysis is needed in your research or not? If it is needed, then you will go on a second step, right? If it is not needed, then there is no need to go for the data analysis. You write down a simple, review paper, right? So after getting the understanding of why or data analysis is actually needed, then you need to understand by which source you will collect the data, right? Source of the data, it's mean here I'm talking about the primary, secondary or the mixed, right? So first you need to decide, this is a decision is not taken by your supervisor, not taken by someone else. This decision is taken by the researcher their own, because they are actually deciding their topic. They know the objective of their work, they know the hypothesis of their work. So as per your objective, as per your hypothesis, then you need to decide, okay, either you will go for the primary data collection, you will go for the secondary data collection, or you will go for the both mixed type of data collection, right? Because nowadays the people are using the mixed type of data collection also, like few hypotheses is fulfilled by the primary data collection and a few by the secondary. Okay. So in a second step, you need to identify, or you need to be very clear which type of data collection is actually the needed in your study. After that, you need to clean your data. Clean your data means you have already decided you will go for the primary or secondary. Then you need to, after the collection of the data, you need to clean your data. So clean your data, or just clean the unnecessary data. It doesn't mean here you blindly delete your data. cleaning of data, it means sometimes we collect some unnecessary data. There are some biasness in your data. It means sometime by mistake you put one more zero in your data, like this. Okay, so with the help of the frequency, like the you need to check the mean, median, mode, this type of few statistical tools. By this, first you need to clean your data and just delete the unnecessary data which actually increase the biasness or error in your data in further analysis. So the third step after the collection of the data, you need to the clean your data, right, to minimize the error in your analysis. Then after cleaning of the data, you put your data in a proper manner for which will ready for the analysis process, right? So the fourth step is the analyzing of the data. And my the all further slide is actually the focus on a point number 4, the analyzing of the data, right? Because it is not possible here that I just explain the each and every process. So my all further slide is related to the analyzing of the data. And after the analyzing of the data, then we have the interpretation of the data. In a data analysis is not only about the analysis. After the analysis, whatever the value you will get, the interpretation of this value is also important. If you're not able to explain your data, it's mean there is you are not be a good researcher, because in a research paper you need only keep the analysis is not enough. You need to analyze or you need to interpret your data very well. Okay, so in a data process we need to follow this all process in a systematic manner. We cannot jump from one step to another. Like first you need to collect the data, and you cannot directly jump to the analyzing of the data. So the data process is actually the systematic way. The systematic ways mean you need to follow all step one by one. You cannot jump from one to the another. So this is the process of the data analysis. Now, as I told you, like we have a two type of data analysis technique, the quantitative and the qualitative. So here I'm not, I'm not able to explain the all thing about the qualitative data. In a qualitative data analysis, there is a narrative study, and there's a number of the tools are there, analysis technique are there. So in this session, I'm only give the focus on a quantitative data analysis. What is the quantitative data analysis, the type of the quantitative data analysis, and how you will select the proper quantitative data analysis technique. So what is the quantitative data analysis technique, right? So quantitative data analysis is simply mean analyzing the data that is the number based, right? Number based, or the data that can be easily converted into the number without losing any meaning, right? So see, a number of people become confused that quantitative data analysis technique is mean whenever we have some data in a numbers, right? But number of the times we can change the qualitative data into the quantitative one by giving some coding, right? Coding in the sense you will give a code to the qualitative data. For very simple example, like we have a gender, male and female. For the analysis purpose, we need to change this in a quantitative. So we will provide 1 to the male and 2 to the female. As I show you an example also, like the categorical based variable, like the gender, like, and we have a language. So we will easily convert in a quantitative one by giving the some coding. And we need to inform to the software. If you are going for the analysis in any software, then you need to inform to the software that this value 1 and 2 is actually give the labeling. This is called the labeling of the variable. So you need to inform to the software that this 1 and 2, it doesn't mean 1 plus 2 equal to 3, but this is 1 is actually representing some non-numerical data, right? So quantitative data analysis, it means simply when we are going to deal with the some numerical variables, numerical values, right? The second one, where we use the quantitative data analysis, right? As we have a both type of data, qualitative and quantitative. So we have strictly, I cannot tell you there's a, this is the limit, but strictly when we have a three type of situations, right? The first, it is used to measure the difference between two groups, right? So, if in your research you want to see the difference between the two groups, for example, the popularity of the two clothing brands. I just give one example, and whenever you want to compare between two groups, for example, if there is a two section in a class, right? For example, if I'm taking the classes of the BBA and there is a two section A and B, I just want to check, the communication quality. Okay, like which section is give a more, have a more communication quality. Then if we have this type of study, then we will go for the quantitative data analysis. So whenever in your research you want to check the difference between the two group, then you will go for the quantitative data analysis. Secondly, it's used to check the relationship between the variable, right? If you have a two variables, for example, here I'm just giving a one example also. Like if you want to check the relationship between the height and weight, right? Like the person or the kids who have a uh, good height, they have also the good weight. So if you want to check the relationship between the two variables, and one more example is also given in a slide, like educational qualification and the salary, right? If you want to check that the person who have a higher education, they get the good salary. If you have this type of question, this type of hypothesis in your research, then of course you will go for the quantitative data analysis. The third one, hypothesis. If you want to check the hypothesis, right? What is the hypothesis, and the which type of, in which branch the hypothesis is come? This I will just tell you in a further slide. So if you want to check any hypothesis, then again you will go for the quantitative data analysis. So here these are the three most important things. When which actually explain when you will go to choose the quantitative data analysis technique. If you want to see the difference between the two group, if you want to check the relationship between the two variable, this please make it very clear. In the first one I'm talking about the two groups, and in the second point I'm talking about the variables, right? So there is a difference between the group and variable. And the third one, if you want to check the hypothesis, in all these three cases, you need to go for the quantitative data analysis. Now, the branch of the quantitative data analysis. The branch of the quantitative data analysis, either you can say the branch of quantitative data analysis, or you can say the type of quantitative data analysis, right? So we have a two type of quantitative data analysis technique. The first one, the descriptive statistic, and the second one we have a inferential statistics, right? And the third one, mix of both. So what is the descriptive and what is the inferential statistics? I will just if you check the graph, it is very clear to you. So whenever we deal only sample, what is the sample? What is the population? I hope everyone know about it, the difference between the sample or population. So whenever our study is only targeting a sample, or on the basis of the sample, if you are just hoping ki I'm only targeting the sample in my research work, on the basis of the sample I will give my result, then you will go for the descriptive. Just with an example, for example, if I just want to check, there is a Maruti is a brand. If I just want to check the employee satisfaction level in a Maruti showroom, especially located in a Greater Noida, right? And I will just give a number of the questionnaire of the employee of Maruti, right? A Maruti employee. and this organization is situated in a Greater Noida. And after getting the answer and after analysis, I got that all the employees are satisfied with their management. So if my study is only limited on the basis of this few sample, the sample selection is there is a one, you cannot randomly select the sample. There is a way to select the sample. We are not talking about all this thing here. So if my study is only limited in this particular, organization, which is situated in a Greater Noida, then this type of study is called the descriptive, right? It's mean I cannot say on the basis of this analysis that the all Maruti, showroom, which is situated in all over India, the all employee all over India, situated Maruti Suzuki, industries. I mean, what number of the employees who are in a working in a Maruti Suzuki, all are satisfied with the management. So it is not a descriptive, right? So descriptive study is when you will only deal with the sample, right? So it is also written here that the descriptive study focus on describing the sample only, right? And if you see the picture that we have a population, targeted population, we will select a sample from the population, right? And then we will do some type of analysis. And you can see an example also, which I just, you can see in a PPT, that if you want to, check the, taste of a cake, then you only need a slice of the cake. There is no need to you eat the whole cake. So the slice of the cake is actually the sample. Okay. And the, whole cake is your population. Okay. So whenever you deal only with the sample, then you will go for the descriptive study. And maybe there are the number of the participants who are dealing with the MBA, BBA student. So they are writing a, project. So the all project is only, the student only collect the descriptive type of data, right? Because their study is only based on a sample. They will not go for the, journalize their, analysis. Whatever the result they will get from the sample, they will not go to journalize this result on a whole population. Okay. So the descriptive statistics is mean whenever we deal only with the sample. So if your research is if in your research your study is based on a sample only, then you will go for the descriptive data analysis. Otherwise, you will go on a infinitical statistic. So there is one more slide which is make you more clear. Like we have a population, and when we will deal with only the sample, our result is only based on the sample. Then we will go for the descriptive statistics. Now, if your work is only based on a descriptive, hope everyone understood about the descriptive statistics. It means when you will deal with the sample only, right? So if you will choose the descriptive study in your research work, then you can select any of this method for the data analysis purpose, right? There is no need to go for the hypothesis testing. There is no need for go for a, T test, F test, Z test, right? Because these are when you will deal with the, population. Okay. So very clearly, if your research work is limited, or if your research work only dealing with the sample data, your result is based on a sample, right? Then you will select the descriptive statistics, and in a descriptive statistics, according to your objective, you can select any of this method. You cannot go for the hypothesis testing, right? Either you will select measure of frequency, you will select measure of central tendency, measure of dispersion, measure of positioning, right? So it's according to your research objective, right? Because I don't know what is your research objective. So whatever your objective, according to that, you can select any of this method for the analysis purpose. Actually, in this slide, I just want to explain why actually measures and what does it include and how it is used. Okay. So if you are very clear about it, like what actually your objective, for example, if you want to check in your research how often a values occur, how often a value if occurs, it means, for example, if you want to check if there is a there is a if you want to check any number in the sense the marks of the student in English, for example, and if you want to check how many student get the more than 55, right, and you decided a range outlier is 56, right, how many students get the 56, so it's mean how often a value is occurs, right, how often a value is occur. For if you want to check this type of question in your research, so definitely you will go for measure of frequency, and measure of frequency you can select frequency, ratio, proportion, percentage, anything for to check your data or for do the data analysis. If you want to check the distribution of the value in your research work, then you will go for the measure of central tendency, and you can choose the mean, median, or mode, right? If you want to identify how your data is spread, right, if there is any objective in your research which is related to know your the variable how the variable is spread, then you will go for the measure of dispersion, and you can select the range, variation, SD, anything, and the most popular is the SD, standard deviation. If you want to check the positioning of the data, right, like which describe the where the value fall in relation to the others, if you have this type of objective, this type of question in your research, then of course you will select the measure of positioning. And for this, what the tool you can use the percentile rank and the quartile rank. This type of techniques you can choose, right? So again, I just want to explain you, like if you're dealing with only sample one, right? If your research is restrict only the sample data, then definitely you will select the descriptive study, right? And in a descriptive study, as per your objective, you can choose any one measure to analyze or to explain your data. Now, as I just told you that there is a two type of quantitative data analysis, descriptive one, and the second one inferential, right? So what is the inferential statistics? Inferential statistics, when we deal with the population is we cannot say directly the deal with this population. We can say whatever the result, okay, whatever result we get from the sample, like after analyzing the data, right, after analyzing the sample data, whatever the result we will get, and now we want to generalize this result on a whole population, right, the targeted population, then we will go for the inferential statistics, right? Just give me 1 minute, it will be the more clear. Just see this picture. Now it will be clear to all of you very well. Like we have a targeted, just see the picture number 1. We have a targeted population, right? From the targeted population, I select this few sample, and there is a there is a technique of to selecting the sample, probability, non-probability. This we will not actually, it is not possible to cover here, but there is a method to select the sample, right? So from the population, I select the sample, and if my study is targeting only the sample, then if you see the analyzed in a whole population, then this is changed in a inferential statistics, right? So again, I'm telling you, like if you want to generalize, for example, if I'm saying that there is an income inequality, in India, okay, if I want to say there is an income inequality in UP, okay, so it is not possible for me to, if I'm and if I want to select some primary data to prove my study, so it is not possible for me, I just collect the data from the population who are living in a UP, right? It is not possible to collect the data for the whole population which who are in a UP. So for example, I'm staying in a Ghaziabad, so Ghaziabad is a very, very easy for me to collect the data from the Ghaziabad, right? So the Ghaziabad, right? So UP is my population, right? UP is my targeted population because my study is strict on a UP. There is a there is a income inequality in UP, right? So in UP is my population, targeted population. In this, I select the sample Ghaziabad. I talk to the people. In a Ghaziabad, I give the questionnaire to the people. There's a there's the number of the question in a questionnaire, and the result what I got from this sample that there is an inequality of income in a Ghaziabad. This is only an example, right? On the basis of this result, if I want to generalize this result in UP ki, yes, on the basis of this result, right, there is income inequality in UP also, right? So my study changed from the descriptive to inferential statistics, right? So there's this is the difference between the descriptive and the inferential statistics. So in the inferential statistics, we talk about the hypothesis testing, we talk about the regression analysis, we talk about the correlation and the factor analysis. And actually just made a note also because this is the only the summary type of things. And actually dealing with the inferential statistics is quite hard also because to prove your hypothesis, you got a number of the errors and a number of the problem with the dealing with the inferential statistics. But here I just give a brief about what is what are the method you can use in inferential statistics. So you need to use a number of the hypothesis testing like the Z test, T test, and chi-square test. And but this is also an issue like where you use the Z test, where you use the T test, where you use the other tests. You have an understanding of this also, right? Just like I just show you before slides, like measure of frequency. If you want to check the positioning, then you will select the measure of positioning. So you have also the understanding of this, where you will go for the Z test, where you will go for the T test and the other things, right? Now, the question is how you will select the right method. Like, as I already told you that we have a descriptive type of data and descriptive type of study. We have a inferential statistic, right? So descriptive is very clear, right? Descriptive is very clear to all of you. Hope, right? Descriptive statistics means where we dealing with the data which is dealing with the data which is sample based data, and our study is only restricted on a sample based data, right? So then we have an inferential statistic where I told you there are the number of the hypotheses and the other things. So which method you actually use, right, according to your as per your objective and the hypothesis, right? So for this you have ask the certain type of question, right? Like number and the level of the measurement, right? Distribution of the variable, dependency and independency structure, nature of the hypothesis, and the sample size. If you have an answer of this all question, right, and all the question or either one and two question as per your research, if you have an answer of this certain question, then definitely it is easy for you to select the appropriate technique for your research work, right? Like the first one, distribution of the variable, right? Distribution of the variable is actually based on a level of the measurement, right? Level of the measurement, it's mean like we have a nominal. Just give me 1 minute. I just skip the. Just give me one. I hope there is a one slide is missing. Yes, okay. So the first one, level of the measurement. So we have a 4 type of measurement: nominal, ordinal, interval, and the ratio. Nominal, when we're dealing with the name, right? it is clear with the name also. Nominal name in the sense the name of us, like Ram, Sita, Gita. Name in the sense we can say anything like what is your religion, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh side. The colors, right, red, yellow. So when we're dealing any type of name type of data, this is called the nominal one. Ordinal, whenever your data, you can keep your data in an order form in the sense, for example, if someone you ask your educational qualification, you never replied like this, like 12th, graduation, post graduation. No, there is one order, either from PhD to the 10th, or the 10th to the PhD. So you always keep these type of things in order. So whenever you will deal with the data which is always in an order form, this is called the ordinal data. Interval means interval measurement. It's mean when you have a data, right? A data with a interval in the sense, for example, if I'm telling you the height 5 inch to 8 inch, right? Then 8 to 5 to if I'm telling you the proportion between these two variables should be same, right? Like 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20. So there is a proportion of the four, there is a difference, so the proportion should be same, right? So there is a, whenever you have an interval data, like the interval data, I will give you the one more example of the income from 0 to 1000, 1000 to 2000, 2000 to 3000. So the proportion between the two points should be same. So this is called the interval data, right? The fourth one, the ratio data. Ratio measurement is I will tell you very clear, the ratio means is almost same as an interval, but in a ratio we will deal with the absolute zero, right? Ratio and interval is almost same type of data, but the difference is only in a ratio we will deal with the absolute zero. Absolute zero, it's mean the zero which have no value, right? For example, if I'm talking about the temperature, zero temperature is mean the weather is very cool, right? So it will come in an interval. If I'm telling you the zero income, it's mean there is no income. Zero height, it's mean no height. So this is called the absolute zero, right? So in a ratio we will deal with the absolute zero data, and interval we have some value of this zero, we have some mean of this zero. So this is the nominal, ordinal, and the interval ratio, right? So what the question you need to ask, right, for the selecting the appropriate data analysis technique? So the question, what is the level of the measurement, right? What is the level of the measurement of the data? So the researcher need to ask the question, either you are dealing with the nominal, you are dealing with the ordinal, you are dealing with the interval, or you are dealing with the ratio data, right? Okay, so after getting the answer of this, how you will select the appropriate technique, this I will show you in a further slide. But here, with the help of this slide, first I want to clear you, the what is the measurement and what the question you need to ask, okay, to select the appropriate technique. So on the basis of the level of the measurement. Now the second one, distribution of the variables. Variable, it's mean like hope everyone have the understanding of the nominal and the measurement. Distribution, it's mean that nominal, binominal, and the second one, positioning, right? So the variable measured on the nominal and the ordinal scale generally do not have any distribution. Okay, so again I want to clear to all of you, if you have a data which is come in a nominal and the ordinal, right? It's mean there is normal there is there is do not have any distribution, right? And if you have deal with the numerical variable, it's mean this is the combine of the ratio and the interval type of data, right? then either normal distribution or some other distribution. There are the number of the distribution data. I'm so sorry, it is not possible to you explain you everything here. So that's why I just give want to just summarize all things in a one slide. Okay, so to know the answer of this question, to get the answer of the distribution of the variable, you need to ask the question, right? And what is the question? Is the data, right? Is the data is normal distributed or not? And you will, okay, and on the basis of this, if your data is normal distributed, then which type of data analysis technique you will select, and if your data is not normal distributed, which type of data analysis technique you will select. Again, I'm saying that these all things are in a further slides, right? So the first one, you need to understanding of the measurement, right? Is your data is the nominal, ordinal, interval, or the ratio? The second one, you need to ask the question about your variable. The variable is mean the distribution of your variable. Then nature of the hypothesis, right? Nature of the hypothesis, it's mean we have a two actually, please don't be confused between the null and alternative hypothesis, because there are the two type of hypothesis, null and alternative. Here hypothesis, I just want to explain you, like in a hypothesis, what actually your question, the question is related to find out the correlation or to find out the difference through your hypothesis, right? Here is one or two doesn't mean the type of hypothesis. Here the thing is what actually you want to find out through your hypothesis, the relationship of variable or the difference of the variable, right? So there is a two type of things in your uh, hypothesis, and what type of question you need to ask, that what is the nature of your hypothesis. It is very simple. The nature in the sense, are you searching for a relationship in a variable, or are you searching for the difference between the variable? So as per the answer, you need to select the data analysis technique. Okay, so and it is not important that you ask the all certain question which I showed you in a slide, in this slide. There is no need to ask the all five question, right? There is no need to ask what is the measurement, what is the distribution of the variable, dependency or independency of the structure, nature of the hypothesis. There is no need to ask the all question, right? It is because it's as per your objective, right? If you are very clear about the measurement, so just ask the question ki actually which type of measurement I use in my research. If you use the nominal, then definitely you will select this data analysis. I will show you in a proper picture, then it will be clear to you. Like if my nature of the hypothesis is the first one, then okay, definitely I will go for the this data analysis. And this is called the rule of thumb. Rule of thumb, it says this is if you have a nominal type of data, so definitely you will select the particular data analysis technique. You cannot select the blindly any data analysis technique, right? Then size of the variable, which I just told you, size of the variable, it means size of the variable is also important, right? And the based of the number of the variable, right, we need to select either we will go for the which type of analysis we will select. Okay, so in a data to number of the variables, for the number of the variables we have a you just check the second statement. Based on a number of the variable, we sometimes even classify the statistical technique as the univariate involving a one variable, bivariate data, two variables, and the multivariate variate data when we have a more than two variables, right? So what the question you need to ask, the question is how many variable are in your hypothesis. Like one variable is mean if you want to check the height of the 10 height of the 10th student, if you want to check the number of the student in a research methodology paper, so it's mean you are dealing with the one variable, right? If you want to check the relationship between the height and weight, then you have a two variable, right? if you want to check the height, weight and eating habit of the students, then you are dealing with the multivariate type of data, right? So this is the example of the univariate data, bivariate data and the multivariate data. So this is also a one way to select the appropriate data analysis technique. Now, as I just told you everyone that in a further slide I will tell you. So the first when we have a one variable, if you just show the brown one, I just had the univariate type of data, when you are dealing with the only one variable, right? So here again we have a two type of statistic: quantitative data analysis, descriptive, and the inferential statistics, right? So if you have a descriptive data, here again I'm explaining everything here again in a summarized form. So if level of measurement, if you have an answer of this, your data is a nominal, ordinal, interval, or the ratio, right? And if you want to check the central tendency, so you will only, if you have a nominal data, be very clear, you will only go for the mode. You don't select the mean and median. If you have again, if you are dealing with the descriptive statistics, it's mean the sample type of data, right? Your study is restricted to the sample type of data, and your data is a nominal in the sense the name, then only go for the mode. And so it is not possible here to give any example, because we have a short of time also, right? Then in a nominal data, there is none in the sense, if you want to check the measure of dispersion and the variance, there is no need, because mode is the maximum value data. Okay, so there is no technique. You don't need to select any technique. Okay, you only check the measure of central tendency if you have a nominal data and the descriptive study. If you have a descriptive statistics and you are dealing with the ordinal data measurement or ordinal type of data, then either you will select the mode or the median. And if you want to check the variance or the dispersion of data, then you can select the interquartile range, only the Q1. You cannot select the other technique of the variance, right? There are the number which is, you can see that the range, variance, standard, you cannot select any of them, right? Okay, when you have dealing with the ordinal type of data. Then the third one, if you have a descriptive statistics, right, you will dealing with the descriptive statistics and you have an interval, then you can go for anyone, mean, median, mode. You can select any technique to analyze your data, right? And the further about the ratio. Now, if you have inferential statistics, okay, if you have a hypothesis, definitely I told you earlier also, inferential statistics, we have hypothesis, right? In a descriptive, there is no need of hypothesis and anything. So for this, if you want to check the significant level of your hypothesis, then you can only go for the one sample t-test, right? Number of the time student and the researcher got confused where I use the t-test, z-test. There are the number of other reasons also as per the sample size, like more than 30, less than 30, right? I'm not including all this point here, because it will be become more confusing things. Okay, so if you have only one variable, and one variable in the sense you want to check the difference between the sample and the population, right? In a sample you have a one variable. If you want to compare between the sample and the population result, so whatever the sample you will result you will get, you want to check with the population, then you will go for the one sample t-test. Then if you are dealing with the more two variables, right? If there is a two variables in your data and you want to and the nature of the hypothesis, actually there's a two things which I just mix here. You know about the data, like you are dealing with the two variables, then you have an understanding of the nature of the hypothesis. Nature of the hypothesis is in the differences and the association. If your hypothesis is come in a first one, differences, you want to check the differences, and if you want to check the association, you can check this diagram, right? If you have a hypothesis which is based on a differences, then first you need to check you have a parametric data or non-parametric. Parametric data is here nothing but the parametric one. It's mean when you have a data which is in a ratio or the come in an interval. Non-parametric, it's mean the data which come in a nominal and the ordinal, right? So you have a two variable, you are dealing, your hypothesis is based on a differences, right? And if you have a parametric data, okay, parametric, it's mean sample, then you will go for the independent and the paired. In an independent, you will go for the independent sample t-test, and if you have a paired type of sample, then you will go for the paired sample t-test, right? If you're dealing with the non-parametric, it's mean if you have a nominal and the ordinal data, okay, variable type, again nominal, it's mean the variable type, which type of variable you have, then you will go for the man witness u test, right? This is also the because here we are dealing with the hypothesis testing, okay? So if you want to use the independent sample t-test, so this all points will be clear to you. This all point should be clear in your mind, right? Your data should be parametric. You have the independent, independent samples, right? Then only you will select the independent. Then only you need to select the independent sample t-test, right? Now, if you have the check the association through your hypothesis, then again you need to first check that you have dealing with the parametric data and the non-parametric. Non-parametric, again nothing but the nominal and the ordinal, and parametric data means if you have a ratio or the ordinal. Then as per this chart, you need to select either correlation or the regression or the Spearman rank correlation. Spearman rank correlation and the chi-square, when you use this, when you will go for, just I told you, nominal. If you have a nominal data, right, you want to check the association in a hypothesis, you have a nominal data, then you will go for the chi-square test. If you have want to check the association, if your hypothesis is going to check the association with the variables and you have a ordinal data, then you will go for the Spearman rank correlation technique, right? So this is about when you have a two variables, you want to check the hypothesis. First, you make very clear about you are checking the differences by your hypothesis or the association, right? Then you need next you need to check the data. You have a parametric and the non-parametric, right? After checking the data, you need to check this is the independent or paired, right? If this is the independent, then you check the sample t-test, right? Independent sample t-test. If you have a paired, then you will go for the paired sample t-test. Okay, and for that I just explain everything here. And then this is the last slide. Okay, now if you have a more than two variables, right? If you have a data, actually we have a more than two variables most of the time, right? So as per your hypothesis, right, like you are dealing with the differences or association, right? It's mean your hypothesis is talk about the difference and association. Then the second step, you need to check your data is a parametric data or non-parametric data. If your data is parametric data, then you will go for the ANOVA test. If your data is non-parametric data, then you will go for the cursor test, right? Then if you're checking the association, if your hypothesis is about the check the relationship, then type again you need to check the data, numerical or categorical, then which type of variable you have, because here we are dealing with the more than two variables data. If you have a numerical, then the multiple regression. Numerical, then you have a multiple discriminant analysis, and then the logistic regression, right? So this all three actually pictures is the summarized form. I can say this is the summarized form of actually with the help of this charts or with the help of this picture. I just want to keep all points at one place, like the type of data, which type of hypothesis which type of hypothesis you have, which type of data you have. If you have an answer of this question, then easily you can select the appropriate data analysis technique as per your research work, right? So this is all about from my side, sir. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much, madam, for your wonderful presentation on analysis tools and techniques. You explained it very well. So thanks a lot. Request dear participants, please query regarding the topic. Please come ahead. Ask your queries, madam will answer it. Please.
नमस्ते मैडम।
Yes sir.
वेलकम सर।
मैडम आपने दो डाटा कलेक्शन की बात की है, क्वांटिटी और क्वालिटी
जी।
तो जैसे मैं एक एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ, जैसे मैं एक गांधी के अपरिहार्य विचारों की स्पर्शुक में प्रासंगिकता, तो एक सामाजिक शोध है जो व्यक्ति आज अनिवार्य वस्तु से अधिक इकट्ठी कर रहा है। मतलब गांधी जी ने कहा था कि जितनी आवश्यकता हो, जिस वस्तु की आवश्यकता हो वही कलेक्शन करूं। लेकिन आज के हम इस स्पर्श युग में जो मैं देख रहा हूं, मैं इंजीनियर लोगों को देख रहा हूं जो आईटी से जुड़े हैं, उन्हीं पर मैं शोध कर रहा हूं। एक तो मैं ये पूछूंगा कि मेरा सैंपल कितना होना चाहिए क्वांटिटी में, दूसरा क्या क्वालिटी का कैसे उपयोग किया जा सकता है इसमें।
सर जो आपने बात कही है कि सैंपल कैसे सेलेक्ट करना चाहिए, तो मैंने अभी ड्यूरिंग द सेशन में बताया कि सैंपल जो चेक लेने का तरीका होता है वो ब्लाइंडली हम नहीं चेक कर सकते, राइट। सैंपल को चूज करने का भी एक स्टैटिकल वे होता है, राइट, कि आपका टारगेटेड पॉपुलेशन क्या है एंड देयर इज अ वन इक्वेशन, राइट। उस इक्वेशन के बेस पे हम सैंपल साइज को चूज करते हैं, राइट। मोस्टली जैसे मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल देती हूँ, बिकॉज आई एम डीलिंग विद द एमबीए स्टूडेंट्स, वो अपनी जो प्रोजेक्ट वर्क लेके आते हैं तो वो सिंपली क्या कहते हैं, मैंने 50 लोगों से बात की, हमने 100 का सैंपल चूज किया, राइट। बट बीइंग अ रिसर्चर सर, वी हैव अ point to select the sample, right? So sampling को choose करना भी एक proper तरीका होता है। There is a one step, there is a one equation. You need to apply this equation, and as per your this result, you need to select the sample, right? अगर मुझे ये पता हो कि आपका targeted population क्या है, या आप कहाँ पे ये स्टडी कंडक्ट करना चाहते हैं, आपके जो टारगेटेड लोग हैं वो किस तरीके के जगहों पे, जैसे आपने बोला कि बेसिक नीड्स की बात है, तो बेसिक नीड में आप किस तरीके के लोगों को टारगेट कर रहे हैं, ये अगर एक टारगेटेड पॉपुलेशन का आइडिया हो, देन आई विल टेल यू कि हाउ यू विल सेलेक्ट द सैंपल, राइट। बट मैं आपको एक लाइक इफ यू गिव यू ईमेल आईडी, तो आई विल गिव यू अ प्रॉपर पीपीटी और प्रॉपर अ वर्ड फाइल जहाँ पे हम बच्चों को अपने ये शेयर करते हैं कि हाउ यू विल सेलेक्ट द एप्रोप्रिएट सैंपल। यू कैन नॉट सेलेक्ट द सैंपल ब्लाइंडली, राइट। एंड कोई भी सैंपल आप जैसे अभी आप ये कह रहे हो, तो आपने अपने स्टडी में कह दिया कि हमने 100 सैंपल, नहीं सर, यू नीड टू एक्सप्लेन, यू नीड टू डिफेंड योरसेल्फ कि आपने 100 को ही क्यों लिया, बिकॉज यहीं से आपके वर्क में एरर स्टार्ट होता है, राइट। अगर आपका सैंपल साइज सही नहीं है तो जो भी आपको रिजल्ट मिलेगा डेफिनेटली इट विल कम विद द एरर। तो देयर इज अ प्रॉपर वे टू सेलेक्ट द सैंपल, ओके। इसका प्रॉपर एक मेथड होता है सर, डेफिनेटली आई विल शेयर यू द मेथड। अगर इफ यू विल शेयर योर ईमेल आईडी, आई विल शेयर यू बाय ईमेल कि व्हाट इज द प्रॉपर मेथड ऑफ इट।
मैं क्वालिटी, अगर क्वालिटी की बात करते हैं, जैसे हम क्वांटिटी के ऊपर ही अधिकतर करके निकल जाते हैं हम कि भाई एक सैंपल ले लिया है। वैसे तो ये शोधार्थी के ऊपर ही निर्भर करता है आजकल, क्योंकि कोई इसको देख नहीं सकता वो किस प्रकार करता है, क्यों अंधेरे में रख देता है शोधार्थी, जरूरी नहीं है। लेकिन मैं यही पूछना चाहूंगा कि एक मिनिमम कितना सैंपल होना चाहिए और मैक्सिमम कितने तक एक अच्छा शोध अगर करे कितना सैंपल का साइज हो जाना चाहिए, अगर इसके बारे में।
सर जैसे मैं आपको बताती हूँ एक एग्जांपल से, शायद आपको क्लियर हो जाए, बिकॉज आई एम पर्टिकुलरली फ्रॉम वाराणसी। तो अगर मैं ये कहूँ कि वाराणसी की बनारसी साड़ियाँ बहुत पॉपुलर है, राइट। तो अगर मुझे ये देखना है कि वाराणसी में जो लोग इसमें लगे हुए हैं, दिस इज कॉल्ड इन हिंदी हथकरघा, राइट, जहाँ पे जो लोग ये लगे हैं, तो द पीपल आर सेइंग वहां बहुत एक्सप्लॉइट हो रहे हैं वो लोग। तो अगर मुझे वाराणसी का ये देखना है कि वाराणसी में कितने लोग लोगों को एक्चुअली में जो है जितना वो चाहते हैं पैसे उनको मिल रहे हैं उतने वेजेस और नहीं, इस पे मैं अगर मान लीजिए कोई स्टडी करना चाहती हूँ, ठीक है, तो अगर मेरा वहां पे हथकरघा में लगे हुए जितने भी लोग हैं, अगर मान लीजिए फॉर एग्जाम्पल वहां पे 5,000 लोग लगे हुए हैं, दिस इज माई टारगेटेड पॉपुलेशन सर। अब आप इसे अपनी स्टडी से एक बार आप रिलेट करके देखिएगा, ठीक है। तो अगर मैं कह रही हूँ वहां पे 5,000 लोग लगे हुए हैं, तो अगर मैं ये दिस इज अ लेमैन, अगेन आई एम सेइंग सर दिस इज अ लेमैन, देयर इज अ प्रॉपर वे टू सेलेक्ट द सैंपल। अभी मैं आपको सिर्फ लेमैन लैंग्वेज में समझा रही हूँ। तो अगर वहां पे 5,000 लोग लगे हुए हैं तो दिस इज माई टारगेटेड पॉपुलेशन जिनको मुझे टारगेट करना है, राइट। लेकिन मैं 5,000 लोगों से बात नहीं कर पा रही हूँ, ओके। तो मैंने क्या किया, मैंने हथकरघा में जो अलग अलग रीजनल, जो अलग अलग जगहों पे लोग लगे हैं, हर जगह से मैंने जो है 50-50 के सैंपल उठाए, अलग अलग एरिया में जो रहते हैं। मैंने एक ही को टारगेट एरिया को नहीं किया, वाराणसी में अलग अलग जगहों पे हथकरघा में लगे हुए कारीगर काम करते हैं। तो मैंने क्या किया, मैंने अपने डेटा को, एरर को कम करने के लिए मैंने 4 से 5 जगहों से 50-50 लोगों को लिया और आई कलेक्ट द सैंपल, और सैंपल को मैंने रखा 200 और 250 और 300। तो अगर मुझसे कोई ये पूछे क्वेश्चन कि आपने 3,000 में सिर्फ 200 लोगों को बेसिस पे कैसे कह दे रहे हो कि आपका रिजल्ट सही है, तो मैं अपने आप को कैसे डिफेंड करूंगी कि मैंने ये जो डेटा लिया है वो मैंने अलग अलग रीजन से लिया है, अलग अलग एरिया से लिया है, एक ही जगह को मैंने टारगेट नहीं किया है, राइट। तो मैं आपको सर फिर से कह रही हूँ, ये मैं आपको वो आंसर दे रही हूँ जो एक्चुअली एक लेमैन पर्सन दे सकता है, राइट। तो आप अगर जिन लोगों के ऊपर ये काम कर रहे हैं, पहले पता करें कि इस तरीके के कितने लोग हैं, फिर एक ही तरह से डेटा ना कलेक्ट करके जस्ट ट्राई टू कवर द मोर एंड मोर एरिया, राइट। बट मैं फिर भी आपसे सर रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी, ट्राई टू यूज अ प्रॉपर वे टू सेलेक्ट द सैंपल, राइट। बट दिस इज द ओनली अ वे। अगर आपको बहुत स्टैटिकल वे में नहीं जाना है, अगर आपको इस तरीके से जाना है, तो आपका यही एक तरीका है कि आप पहले पता करें कितना एक्चुअल में इस तरीके के लोग हैं, फिर उसमें से आप थोड़ा सा उसको अपने डेटा को स्प्रेड करें, थोड़ा उसको बढ़ाएं, जिससे कि आप ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग, अब 500 लोगों पे भी मैम सैंपल पे काम करना बड़ा मुश्किल है सर, राइट। तो इस तरीके से आप अपने सैंपल को चूज कर सकते हैं, यहाँ पे एरर बायसनेस थोड़ी आपकी कम हो जाएगी।
धन्यवाद मैडम, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मैडम।
थैंक यू सर।
Thank you, Honorable Jaivir Singh sir, for your nice queries. And ma'am.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
No, for known population you have formula for getting the sample size. For unknown population you have formula for getting the population size, and you can adopt either random sampling method or non-random sampling methods for getting the right sample size. What I presume, madam.
Sorry sir.
Sample size can be determined by the help of formula for known population, for unknown population. Through statistical measure, you can find out the right sample size, and then you can go for technique like random sampling or non-random sampling methods.
Yes sir.
That's why that will be much easier. To random sampling, as you already mentioned, the 50-50 group banana karna hai. So randomly you can pick up the sample to get the analysis.
Yes sir, yes sir. As I told you in my presentation also that there is a number of the way to select the sample. There is a probability and non-probability. In a probability we have a different, like a systematic way, random sampling. But these all are the ways, sir. These all are the method to select the data, the sample, right? Like, but you have number of the sample. This is the different. Choose the sample is something different, sir. Right, so just sir is asking about the number of the sample, like number is mean 100, 200. Technique selecting is a selection of the sample is a technique. You are talking about the technique, sir.
No, that can be determined with a random limit. You are saying that you can say randomly you can pick up from different areas, you know.
Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, right.
That's what I am telling. Randomly,
oh yes sir, absolutely right.
That's what I am telling.
Yes sir, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yes ma'am. जी okay जी sure sir, no issue. Sure sir, it's pleasant for me. Sure, sir. Sure. It's my pleasure, sir. Sure.
से धन्यवाद सर। बहुत कुछ मतलब समझ में आया है जो एग्जाम्पल वाराणसी का दिया। तो हम क्या करते थे, हम ये अलग अलग दिशा में नहीं जाते थे, एक ही तरफ चले जाते थे। तो ये बहुत ही अच्छा मैडम ने समझा है कि हमें जिस को हमें टारगेट करना है उसमें जो अलग अलग जिस तरह के वो लोग काम कर रहे हैं। जैसे एक एग्जांपल मैं अब दूंगा कि एक कंपनी में काम करता है, एक मैनेजर होता है, वो उनका सर्कल अलग होता है, लेबर का अलग सर्कल होता है। तो वो अलग अलग सर्कल में मुझे शायद कलेक्शन मतलब करना है। तो मैडम ने समझा, सही है ना मैडम?
यस सर।
और नंबर मिलेगा तो जैसे मुझे जरूरत पड़े। बहुत बहुत आभार, धन्यवाद सर। हाँ जी जी, धन्यवाद।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। श्योर सर। श्योर सर।
धन्यवाद जी।
So thank you, Dr. Javir Singh sir, Dr. Badiuddin sir. Thanks a lot for asking a nice queries, and it have explained by Madam so nicely. Now I move towards. Then I request to organizer of the series, Honorable Principal Ambedkar sir. Sir, please welcome and have some words for us, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for giving opportunity. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. It's really honor for me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I move towards the vote of thanks. Kumarswami Mahavidyalaya Ausa, District Latur, organized a very long series, that is World Recall Series 2. And for today's session, the day was 131st. Means up to we have covered 131st lecture, and the series is running for a long time. So for today's session, Dr. Nitu Maurya madam was there, talked upon the topic, that is data analysis tools and techniques. I think the madam have explained the topic very nicely in a very fantastic way, because the each and every aspects details about the topic have presented it in an excellent manner, where madam have covered all those points. I think no points have left in her lectures. Very softly and sincerely talked about the topic. What is the data analysis and how to collect huge data and data analysis? What is important for researchers? Then the process of the data analysis, the types of data analysis techniques, right method for data analysis, as well as measurement distribution of variables, nature of hypothesis, then how to choose the right method for data analysis. Now, these points. So, thank you very much for paying your valuable time to us. Thank you very much. I
Thank you
thanks to
so
the
much.
chief organizer of the series, Honorable Principal Ambedkar sir. I thanks the colleagues from my college, IQAP coordinator Dr. Sanjay Kale sir, Dr. Anita Dole, Supervisor Praveen Whitke sir. I thank all those persons and made and enhance the beauty of the series. Special thanks to Dr. Javir sir, Dr. Badruddin sir, who always join on time and ask nice questions. Always share the interaction sessions. So thanks to you. For this, I declare that session, but I request please fill the feedback given in the chat box. So thanks a lot to you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
कल कितने बजे जुड़ना है सर? 7